And I'm looking on this square that's empty. There's no statues on it now. And all of a sudden people start running out of into this open square from all of these buildings. And they're all dressed in their occupational garb. They all have, the nurses have their little hats on, and the doctors their stethoscopes, the welders their leather apron and their goggle type hat that's up. And you can tell their occupation by their apparel that they're wearing. So I would say that this event, whatever it is that has caught their attention, has caught them, and they are running out, all fully aware of why they're coming out of the building. Because as they come out, they begin to point up, like in the direction the frog was. As I'm looking into the heaven, I'm in the heavens looking down on this square. I didn't see anything but the square at first. They begin pointing off to my left hand. Now remember, the frog was at my left hand in the vision, remember? And the vapor came from him. They're pointing in the direction of my left hand, and they're mocking and scoffing and jeering and saying, "You can't hurt us. You don't have any power anymore. We're not afraid of you." And they're looking, and then my eyes see this army that went from the bottom of right by the square all the way into the heavens, clear up to the same level I was in the heavens. Off to my left hand was a Russian general, fully dressed in his full general's outfit with all of his braid and everything, standing in the heavens. His fists were clenched like this, and they were down at his side like this. His chest was out. And he was looking down into the square at these people. At his right hand was a rectangular weapon. I had never seen exactly that kind before. To me, it looked kind of like an anti-aircraft type multiple cylindered weapon that they'd have on ships. But it wasn't quite. And as this band of people down in the square are mocking his army and are literally scoffing and laughing at him and saying, "You don't have any power, we're not afraid of you," I saw all of a sudden his neck muscles begin to thicken and his face begin to get a look of tension, and he was getting angry, and then his blood vessels begin to bulge, as all of a sudden his fist came up like this and he said, "Present arms! Aim! Fire!" And this massive army of footmen that come from the heavens clear down into the level that these people were in the square. A people, this army that was stood like this before he gave the orders to fire. They were in full chemical warfare gear. And I didn't learn that until a man came back from maneuvers over in Afghanistan. And when he had me describe the uniform I saw in the vision, he said, "Henry, you have perfectly described the Russian chemical warfare uniform." And he said, "I didn't even know they had that kind of uniform until I just went over there myself and saw it. We didn't even have pictures to train for these because they're brand new uniforms. It's the latest of gear they have." But he said, "I want to tell you something. Your description of their chest looking like the ribbed look of a locust of the desert, the ones that make that buzzing sound in the summer, that was what their chest looked like. Their face looks kind of like, almost like a horse in a way, the snoot somewhat like a horse, and they had big googie eyes." And he explained to me, he said, the googie eyes or the goggles are the head covering they put over them. It has the goggles, and the snooty looked like a horse, you said. He says, and he asked me the colors and everything. He said, "That's exactly what the chemical warfare gear looks like. That has a pre-filtration system and a breathing apparatus that goes back down into this rib-looking chest that has multiple filtration systems." And he said, "That is the most advanced chemical warfare gear that you can get on the face of the earth." And he said, "I want to tell you something. We didn't have anything to match it." He said they fired chemicals across, and some of my men got into those chemicals, and their chemical warfare gear began to just melt right off of them. He says, "I don't know what kind of material they have, but we better find out." From that time, he said, I was scared to death over there. One blast of this vapor could wipe out my whole platoon. Well, they were firing on the people, back to the vision, they were firing on the people in this square. As they fired the first shot on these people, I then saw something that I believe we're being prepared for today. It totally caught these people by surprise. They sincerely, with their whole heart, did not believe that that massive military had any power, and they did not believe that that military would ever fire on them because of the response that was taking place there as they were fired on. They were taught by total surprise and total panic. And the whole action of that group of people in that square told me it was a surprise to them, even though they knew the army existed. They could see it going into the heavens, but they sincerely believed it would not fire on them.
The Lord Almighty, He touches the earth and it melts, and all who live in it mourn. The whole land rises like the Nile, then sinks like the river